Welcome everybody. Today we have Bill Walsh here with us, America's small business expert and venture capitalist. Welcome.
Glad to be here. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thank you very much, Bill, because you've been ranked in the top 10 business, or not coaches in the world, author of the best-selling book, The Obvious,
yes.
which is not so obvious, and you're creator of the Rainmaker Summit. So
Absolutely.
We're very honored to have you here.
And I'm honored to be here. Thank you for having me.
And thank you
It's
very
exciting.
much. You can see that we're actually here on the film set of the coaching movie, and we're going to have a coaching session with Bill after this show. And if you are here, actually you can call in on Skype in just a moment to be coached by Bill personally on this webcast show.
It'll be fun.
Yeah. And it's an amazing view here. And Justin, if you could show us around a bit where we are here in Malibu, in high up the hills above the ocean. It's a beautiful place. It's the place that we're going to use as the film set for
Yes.
the coaching.
The view is breathtaking, needless to say. It's unbelievable. And if you get a chance to spend time in Malibu, I highly recommend it.
We have mountains, we have sea view, it's wonderful. We even have had an eagle passing by, so it's really a great place to be.
And it's great to be in the middle of the action on the film set. Here on the background, you have our director of photography, Dominic, who's setting up the coaching session that we're going to do with Bill for the movie, the world's first documentary about the coaching profession with experts.
If you would see walls moving and strange big cameras on our back, so it's fine because we are just on the movie set. So everything is possible here.
So great. Well, Bill, let's start with how people can grow more their business. You teach a lot about it. Now give us one little secret that many of the entrepreneurs don't know yet that you have applied to grow your business and that worked for many others.
Well, I think a lot of times what happens is that we think we just follow our passion. You know, if you're passionate about something, you'll be successful. Well, I don't believe in that. I believe you've got to be great at something that serves a lot of people. There's got to be an industry where there's money in the space, and you've got to commit to it. You've got to commit those 10,000 hours. You know, I think a lot of times people are looking for get rich quick. I don't believe in get rich quick. I believe in get rich, but getting rich means that you actually work really hard, you pay the price in advance, you put the time out there, you know, and if you've got to commit 1 to 3 years to build a great business, that's the reality of building a great company. So many times we hear about these get rich quick ideas. Many times get rich quick means get broke faster. So the idea is really commit to something you're great at that serves a lot of people and really commit the time to become really that world-class expert. You know, I believe that generalists get paid and specialists get wealthy. So take the time to become a specialist. I know a lot of times we're busy doing this. Get busy doing this. Be great at that one niche that you really are great at that you know can help a lot of people. And obviously that thing is, once again, commit to it. You know, I think that it's not that people don't know what to do. Many times, a lot of times, they get distracted in all types of businesses.
So we need to do first small steps
Yes.
to be able to reach Mount Everest in the future.
Yeah, because, I mean, when we created the Rainmaker Summit, the idea was not just go straight to the top, right? You literally go from base camp to camp 1 to camp 2 to camp 3 to camp 4. And that's the same way you climb a mountain, same way you build a business. Which means
true.
you take the time, you do it step by step. And it's not like you're expecting overnight results. You know, you always hear about these overnight success stories. I would tell you that most of them are 10 years in the making. You know, and I think once you start to realize that, it gives you a much better map and a blueprint and a game plan to pay that price and pay that price in advance.
And by the way, for people who are listening and watching this, you can follow us live on chat and you can ask your questions to Bill by going to coachingmovie.com/live, and next to this video you will find the chat window. We're pulling it here on our screens and we can see your question, we can see your interaction. Inspire us with your ideas to grow your business and also which questions you have for Bill that you would like to have answered during this show. And also, actually, we will be coaching a few persons that can call in. So if you are sitting right there and you would like to have some world-class coaching by Bill Walsh, then get ready for Skype and add us to Skype on Coaching Movie, and maybe we could call you to grow your business together with Bill.
All right, I think they are convinced they will call in. And in the meantime, tell us some secrets, you know, because something that you don't tell so often about growing business, maybe something about how you achieve what you have and where you are.
I guess I would give the equation first of all. If you said, what's the success equation? and most people will never put these two together, but I think it's really the truth of what it takes to become successful. It's number one, be persistent. You have to be persistent. You have to be willing to put that work into it. And number two, it's persistence plus failure that equals success. I've been broke and I've been wealthy. I promise you, broke sucks, but I've been there. And you start to realize when you're going through those toughest times who your real friends are, who your real partners are, who you can really count on are. But I think to really achieve success, if you look at most of the billionaires today, they're all consistently persistent, right? But they've also had plenty of failures. Whether it's been in political elections or it's been in business or growing major companies. I mean, Steve Jobs was fired from his own company. Right? I mean, begin to think about it. Here's a guy that created the company and they let him go. So a lot of times you're going to face the adversity, and the question is, are you tougher than the adversity you face? Because if you are, you're going to win. But I think a lot of times we're not told that. We're told that it's just easy pie in the sky, but I like the idea that it's okay to fail. I think the worst thing in life is not failing, it's never trying at all. It's never going after those big dreams. I mean, life goes by in such a flash, and to not go after your biggest dreams, and even if you fail on the way, it's okay. Many times those failures are what I call learning steps, right, to become even better the next time. So I guess if that would be the big tip, is that it's okay to fail, be persistent, right? And I guess the other thing that a lot of times they don't tell you is that go out of your way to surround yourself with best in class. Even if you're uncomfortable, get out there and find out who are the people that are playing at the highest level that you could team up with. And look at what they're doing, see how can you help them, how can you serve them. It changed our whole business when I went from here's what I got and here's what I want, to here's who I am and here's who I can serve.
And speaking about those best in class,
Yeah.
you teach also how to partner up with millionaires, how to contact them, how to build alliances with
Yes.
them. Now, one of the troubles that many people watching this might have is, okay, once they are sitting in front of a millionaire,
Right, what do you say?
it's okay, I
Yeah,
guess,
yeah.
but getting hold of them, getting their attention, or on a
Yes,
phone
that they
call.
feel
Sure.
impressed by you. It's not so easy. They are millionaires.
Right.
They don't care.
We had a tough time reaching you, Finally we got there, thanks to...
So the question is that many times what happens is that when we reach out to wildly successful entrepreneurs, we're focused on what we want instead of really being focused on what do they want. And so when I changed the conversation, because I would have this conversation, I made a list back in 2001, 2002, who would be perfect marketing partners for our business. I didn't know these individuals, right? But I knew they had influential reach. I knew they already been successful. They're already helping a lot of people. And I would go and connect with them and meet them and try to put together deals, but it never really worked. Until I changed the process, that I learned was that, not just going after what you want, but figure out how you can serve them first. And so once I changed the process to learn about them, right, get into the 90-10 conversation, tell me exactly what they're focused on, then figure out how could I serve them. And I mean really serve them at a high level. And once I began to create value for those that played at a high level, it could be a connection, it could be donating your time to one of their events, it could be just showing up, it could be making a phone call, it could be a lot of little things you can do to actually help them create more success. And the fun thing is that once you've done this, who do they tell? They tell everybody. When I look back at, Mark Victor Hansen and I, who wrote the book called Chicken Soup for the Soul, we're partnering on a lot of projects today, but 10 years ago we didn't know each other. But when I helped them have a big party to sell some more books for their stuff in Chicago, and they walked into a room full of people and they sold all their books, they were like, I really don't know who you are at this time, but whatever you're doing, we need to be in business together. We got to figure out some ways. And I didn't say, you got to pay me for the book sales, right? It was more along the lines, let me help you guys create more success in what you're focused on. And by doing that, it opened up a universe of opportunities. And so when you think about the laws of attraction, it goes back to some of that stuff. Laws of attraction are great, but then you got to put the work behind it. That's I guess a lot of times the missing link is that it is the hard work and the dedication, and sometimes you may not always have the perfect recipe. You might have some of the failures, you might have some of the mistakes, but through the mistakes you become better, stronger, definitely faster and smarter.
So what you're saying is when you have a potential millionaire you would like to partner up with, do something for them and make some sales for them.
It doesn't have to make some
And
sales.
make
Sometimes it could be just a relationship that you open up. So for example, they may be hosting a big charitable event, and you might know someone that's on the TV or the radio or the news, or someone that writes a column, whatever it might be, but you can get them some more exposure to what they're focused on. And the thing is, in the conversation, most entrepreneurs always want to talk about themselves. So the better thing is talk about the world-class entrepreneur or the millionaire or billionaire you're with, and let them start talking. Because as they're talking, they'll talk about what they're excited most about. And if you can help them, you can help them. And it's got to be genuine. If you can't genuinely serve them at a high level, or you're not aligned with who they are, they're going to pick it up right away. But if you are, then go out of your way to create that value. And before you know it, believe me when I tell you that once they have a little more success because of the relationship with you that you've helped them on, they're going to find out a lot more about who you are, what you do, and how you can certainly be connected in their world. And that's exactly what I've done year after year after year. I make a list every year who are the top 10 business partners I'd like to have over the next 5 years. And I go out of my way to create value for them first. Ask for nothing in return and just believe and trust in the universe, because we live in a divine universe. And if you're present to it, there's so many things that are possible in your life.
Do you have a question for Bill
yes, I have.
before we go to the coaching?
I just have a question. So if we are coming back to this very first great idea, how you can test your idea? Because you don't know.
That's a great thing. So how do you, if you got this great idea, how do you make it work, right? Maybe you have a great idea, but you don't have the money, right? So many times what I would recommend, if you're starting out and you don't have lots of money and someone else has already proven a similar concept, maybe go work for their firm. Maybe go start there. I mean, realize, you see the TV show called Undercover Boss, right, that's been wildly successful. Realize Howard Hughes did that 50 years ago. When he would invest in a company, he would go work at the bottom of the company because he wanted to learn the process that they were using, how they treated their customers. We know in business two things: acquire customers, retain customers. You do those two things very well, you'll have a great business. But the thing is, once again, if you don't have the money, don't go gamble your life savings on some wild idea. Go find someone that's doing what you're already doing extremely well and go learn as much as you can from them. And then all of a sudden take what you've learned and apply it into a real business, into your business. Now listen, if you have 6 months or 2 years of money put away and you can go out there and you got the time to invest in something, I'm a big believer, go after your dreams. But I never say quit your job and live your dreams. I say work part-time on your dreams will work full-time on you. And the fun thing about that is that when you have the peace of mind where you can pay your rent or you can pay your mortgage, you can pay your basic bills, now building your business becomes a game of chess and a lot of fun. But it's without all the stress. I believe what kills a lot of entrepreneurs and small business owners is called self-doubt. The minute they believe they can't do something or they can do something, they've already answered their own question. Henry Ford said it 100 years ago, believe you can or you can't, you're right. And I see the same thing. I see, once again, if you're going to really grow that business, you've got to be willing to step outside the comfort zone, but do it on your own terms. You don't have to have success on someone. I went down to Richard Branson's home, right, in Necker Island for 5 days. I'm like, oh my gosh, I haven't even started, right? Look at all the things that he's created. But realize, no matter where you're at, there's always somebody playing where? At the next level up. So be open to learn.
So let's see who is open to learn and who would like to go to the next level from the people that we have on Skype right now. Margie, if you said you cannot find Coaching Movie Skype on our Skype, it's pretty easy. Skype name Coaching Movie, and yes, it's the one that's named Coaching Live or Coaching Movie when the name comes up. So let's see with the first caller for today. I believe we have Vincente, who we can call. Or he will call us, Vincente, whoever is first right now is the moment. And what will happen is that, Bill, let's find out what
is their question?
What's the question? Sure, absolutely.
And how we can provide some value, showing some speed coaching here on Coaching Live.
It doesn't need to be a speed coaching, it's up to you. Yeah. Just one answer about the great idea, because I'm really interested. So how I can verify which idea I should proceed with?
Well, like I said, instead of just saying which idea you proceed with, what are you great at? So not just the great idea, what are you great at? Because a great idea by itself could be dangerous, especially if you don't have the right team, plan, the right systems, the right funding, and have a timeline for execution. Because I think what happens is that most entrepreneurs wind up doing this. Stop doing this and go to this. So all the great ideas are awesome, but an NFL quarterback could have a great idea to become a surfer or to become a skier. And he could be a terrible skier, but he thinks skiing would be great for his new business, and he decides to go skiing and then breaks his leg. Right? So a lot of times what happens, entrepreneurs wind up doing things they're not great at.
But they can still start selling skis, yeah?
They can start selling skis, but that may not be the best use of their time. Do you see what I'm saying? So once again, at a high level, we know many times internally, what are we great at? Then it's understanding, how do you wrap a business around what you're great at? Not just, because you can be passionate about taking photos. You go, well, I see this, I can do all these photos. Look, I got this beautiful view out here, right? You can take all the photos, but your photos might be bad. And then nobody buys them, even though you're passionate about it. So it can be a great idea to sell photos of up here, right? But if your photos are not great, no one's going to buy them. You can say, listen, I'm great at building homes. I'm great at designing architecture. Awesome. Follow your passion that you're really great at, that can serve a lot of people. So the litmus test is always, great idea is one thing. Is it already proven? Are you willing to give up everything else you've got to go after? Because if you start trying to chase 5 different things at one time, you'll never be good at any of them.
Okay.
And that's what I find most entrepreneurs do. So when you've got your whole list of the things you would love to do, once again, match it up to what you're great at. Can you assemble a team? Can you get the financing? Get the systems in place? And then can you actually execute? So I hope that helps you.
How much we can execute together with Vicente.
Let's go, Vicente, let's go. There we go. How are you?
Hey, Bill, how are you today?
Awesome.
First, I want to say thanks for helping me and coaching me through. Very excited about talking to you today.
Yeah, glad to be on. Thanks. Go ahead.
We are a 40-day reset, rapidly growing weight loss company, and we just signed a contract with the New York Giants football team to be their weight loss program, the official weight loss program of the Giants. And I need to know how to leverage that relationship to get the most from it.
Well, I think one of the most important things is make sure that when you have a relationship with someone like that that's playing at a super high level, you've got to make sure you have all the releases done. Make sure that they're okay with what you say. Because I know a lot of times what happens is that people they'll ruin a great contract because they'll have an endorsed partner and they'll say the wrong things without getting their permission. So many times if you have a great partner like that, begin to leverage, and I also say this, look at 5 other individuals that have partnered with the Giants over the last 5 to 10 years, and look at what have they done to really grow their brand by having that amazing partnership. I believe that success leaves a lot of clues. So work backwards on the clue factor and figure out what have other partners done with the Giants to be wildly successful, and how can you mirror what they've done. And if you'll do that and make sure that everything you do has really been approved by them, you're going to find that you'll have a lot more success quickly, right, by doing that.
It makes sense. that makes a lot of sense. Would you recommend meeting with their marketing team to get strategies that they've used before?
Absolutely, and if they're open to that, right, take them all to lunch. Do something that, once again, adds value first. Don't just call and say, hey, I'd like to come meet with your marketing team, and because many times, almost all these professional sports teams, they have outside agencies. And they have big agencies, right? So you want to figure out that here's what your goal is, here's what your vision is. How can working together, once again, how can you help them even more, right? How can the message you're going to bring that, you know, the Giants are taking on a proactive approach for their athletes to be super healthy versus letting the athletes go find all these random coaches that have not been approved, and they wind up getting lots of problems because of that, you know, where once again you could take the high road with the company, that the Giants themselves are setting the precedent in the NFL. Do you know what I mean? To really engage the fact that they've gone out of the way to find the best nutrition, best coaches, to really help all their members have the best chance to win.
Right. They also want us to implement the program, the same program we're doing for them, to their fans. They actually want us to bring the program to their fans, obviously at a different level. How do you think we can correlate the two?
Well, I think at a high level, once again, now you're getting the company's head people involved, and I think to do something like that, that's a mass scale program. So unless you've done a lot of mass scale programs, I would highly recommend, once again, find an expert that's done this before with them, whether it's Visa, anyone else that markets at a big level at their stadiums, find out what have they done to be most effective. You know, I promise you that Gatorade has a plan. All these different groups have a plan. Nike has a plan, right? They know it's not just the players that are using the uniforms and playing with their equipment. They know for a fact that it's on national TV every week. So at a super high level, once again, go back to always look at who's done it best in class in that specific instance and begin to understand how you mirror and copy what they've done. But definitely make sure you do it all in coordination with their team. Because once again, I've seen this before where high-level partnerships are destroyed because they don't take the time to include their high-level partner in the conversation.
Great, thank you very much, Vicente, for calling in. I hope this was useful to you.
It was fantastic. Thank you for the action plan for the use of media. Thanks for your time, Bill.
Good luck with your program.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Let's have a look who is a next possible caller. Hi, Yvette.
Hi.
Great to hear you, and great to see you in a moment when you enable the webcam.
Okay, I'll do that.
Great, perfect. So enable your webcam. Yes, now we can see you. Great. So
Hi.
Bill Walsh is here, America's small business expert, and the floor is yours.
All right, hi Bill.
Hi, Yvette. How are you? So what's your question of the day?
How do you get to a point where you want to stop having, or the need to have everything perfect before you start?
So let me just tell you that it's never perfect. The biggest companies in the world are always working on getting even better. And I guess that's the focus, is that you don't have to be great to start, but you do have to be. You have to start to be great, but you got to great to be started. And I think a lot of times what happens, we get confused in that, just like I did. But I think it goes back to that. I want to show how that saying goes, that you don't got to be great to start, but you got to start to be great. And so I think when you're starting out today, realize that every small business owner, every big company, they all started somewhere. I mean, go back and look at, Steve Jobs or Bill Gates. I mean, some of them started in the smallest, craziest place. I read a thing about Mark Zuckerberg when he started, right? He invited 9 people to come to his first conceptual idea about this great business opportunity. The funny thing is only 2 showed up. But those 2 that showed up both became billionaires. Wow. Because they believed in the vision. And so for you, it's the same thing once again, right? Is that put the vision on the board, put the vision on the wall, and then build the mission to get there. I think a lot of times what happens, we're always focused on how do we become perfect. Don't worry about being perfect, just worry about going out there and getting it done and starting. And I think once again, wherever you're at in your business, same thing, is that be willing to put the work into it. But don't worry about being perfect. Be worried about focus on being perfect at serving your client. Create even more value to serve that client. You're going to find a whole lot more value in that than your perfection. And so don't worry about being perfect, just start. And realize you're going to have some adversities, you're going to have ups and downs, it's part of being in a business, but just, stay with it and stay focused. If you know you have a great value proposition that can help a lot of people, to not go share that message, to me, that is really the biggest expense, is that you don't really take your magic, that I believe everyone has magic inside, are you really taking it out to the marketplace to really serve it up and help others? Hope that helps.
That makes sense. Thank you for that.
Yes, and you have already a great wall behind you with different things, so I think this is the wall where you can put your ideas to get started.
But just start. That's the fun thing. Don't wait to get started. Just start.
Start today.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Yvette. It's great to have you here. We're going to go now to our next and last caller for today, because it's time to start recording for the actual coaching movie in just a moment. Let's see if we have another caller. Feel free to call them. And in meantime, let's have a look at the chat window.
Yes, and I have maybe another question.
Go ahead, sure.
Yes. So when I started my small business 12 years ago,
yep.
I remember I started alone. So I had to do everything myself. I even built my first website myself. It wasn't a perfect one, but it was done by myself. Yeah, it worked. And people liked it. It was a little bit special because, it didn't look like a classic website, but it worked for me. And there was a moment when I started employing people. I have 5 employees.
Right.
And it started to be challenging at some point because I had to pay not only my rent, but I had to pay for them, and I felt like having a big family in a young age. So I was wondering what is the best way when people should start delegating things, and how to do it in a smart way that they don't.
That's a great question. I think they start delegating. I think they start delegating right away. I believe that you should focus on what you're great at. Hire virtual admins if you have to, right? You can actually barter for some, great people to help with stuff. But I think once again, if you're doing all the things, CEO does not mean Chief Everything Officer. And if it does, you wind up doing all kinds of things you're not great at that wind up burning you out. And so if you're thinking about you just starting the company, begin to immediately figure out who can help you at a high level. And this is not just about hiring your friends and family, because many times hiring your friends and family can be a disaster. Find people that, once again, that are great at the pieces that you need. So if you need a good social media person, go find a great social media person. Go find a good tax attorney. Go find a good accountant. Go find people, once again, that can help you with these things that you may not have all the money for today, but you can let them know that you're going to build something, and maybe you can do some trade with them. Does that make sense?
Yes.
But definitely the stuff that's below $10 an hour, get virtual admins for that. Get outsourcing employee service to help you with some of those things.
Great advice. Thank you very much. In the meantime, we have Justin, I believe, here. Justin, is that correct?
Hi, yeah, I'm here.
Wonderful, Justin. So we're all ready, and actually Bill is ready for your challenge for this 5-minute coaching live session.
Justin, so what's your question? If you had a question that, as a coach, I can help you with, what would that question be about launching, growing, or building your business?
One question might be kind of the best way to recruit and find good employees, good technicians to have, implement your systems for you?
So there's a number of things you can do, and obviously there's a lot of services out there today that can do this for you as well, but I still find one of the greatest ways to find great people is through a trusted referral. Many times I've figured out that I go research who's best in class in that space and who do they know. Because I know if someone that I know at a high level that I trust can vouch for that person, that's a great place to start. Now, if you don't have a good trusted referral, let's say you're not sure about that, what I always like to figure out, there are pockets in the world, if you need finance, right? No doubt about it. Tel Aviv, Austin, San Francisco, right? There's certain places you go to for certain niches that you might need. You need overseas phone service, right? Who does great answering of phone service, whether it's in the Spanish or in the Filipino markets, where you can actually find, once again, who's best in class. And many times you might pay a little more for that, but I believe in the short run you'll pay a little more, in the long run you'll pay a lot less. So I would definitely suggest number one is find great referrals. That's someone you might know that knows someone in that space, but if not, go to where the markets are at, go to where the best in class are at. There's also services, I believe it's called Upwork, that was part of like the Elance group, and that, that where they have the, and also Odesk, where they'd actually show you where the clients would talk about the referrals they got. If you're just starting out, whether it's graphic design, I like 99 Designs is a great service for some of the things they do, because they give you marketing as well as not just great creation. So once again, we talked about this earlier, but you always find people that are great at what they do that you can either partner with, right? You can hire, and a lot of times we may not have the money for that. So begin to think of ways that you can partner, barter, or hire that person that's great at things that you're pretty weak at. And do that as quickly as you can, because if you don't, it's going to wind up costing you a lot of money. Because you'll wind up being busy on things, and we find that entrepreneurs go into what's called entrepreneur burnout because they're busy doing things they're not that great at.
Yeah.
Anything else you got?
Yeah, actually one more. It's about approaching potential investors.
Mm-hmm.
What would be the kind of main steps to have in place before you approach an investor, and how would you best approach a potential investor?
That's a great question, because I get this all the time. As you know, we not only do business coaching, we run a venture fund and produce events all over the world, but a lot of that focus is on what we invest our money in. So number one, we invest in a great leader. So I'm looking for the person that's going to own their space, be great at what they do, right? Number two, they've got to have a great plan. And we always talk about 3 different plans: your success track, which is a high-level view, a success plan, and a full-blown business plan. And the business plan has to be something where it's not just all pie in the sky. We're looking for, give me the ups, the downs, the good, the bad. Give me what's called minimum, maximum, outrageous goals. And look at the things, once again, that who's already been the best in case in that study. So you got to have a great plan. Then you got to have a great team. When I look at a business plan, I not just look at the internal team or the outsourcing team, I look at what's called the unemployable expert team. Who do you have that's part of your group that's already been wildly successful in that space, that is basically working with your company on what's called a success fee, which means if the company's wildly successful, they're getting paid a lot of money, but otherwise they're getting very little money or no consulting fees. When I see that in a business plan, that's one of the things I'm really core, because if I have 2 real estate projects, one is a great location, great everything, new team that's doing this and that's their first time. Another one, Project B, same thing, great location, great new team, but Team B has a team of unemployable experts that are 40-0 in real estate projects. And they're only being paid if the real estate project is successful. I can tell you that 100 times out of 100, I'm going to go with Team B. So great leader, great plan. The next part would be great systems. Do they actually have systems in place to grow the business? Not just when I give them my money, but do they actually have a plan 1, 3, and 5 years out is what happens with the money. And making sure those use of funds are very critical. I'm not ever looking to invest in a team that just wants a bunch of high salaries. If I see a business plan and the COO and the CEO and the CFO are getting themselves high 6-figure incomes off of my money, pretty good chance we're not going to invest with that group. We look for companies that will take very low base incomes and high what's called incentive-based comp. We want really extremely high pay when they produce. And if they're willing to bet on that, it means they're willing to bet on their business. And if they're not, I probably wouldn't invest with them either. And I tell you that the venture world's gotten a lot smarter. We've seen so many ideas and so many things come through, but really it's all about customer growth and development. So I'm going to look also, when I look at that business, is I look at a model where there's recurring revenue. Does your business model have recurring revenue, or is there a great exit strategy? And not just your exit strategy, but mine as the investor, and my first money in, first money out. Is there if things don't go so good, what happens? Is there a liquidation preference? And this is all inside your business plan. And don't go submit a business plan that you haven't put into a good 1-page executive summary. Don't just pass out these 20 or 30-page plans that look like they come from a copy mill, right? Take the time to really know the plan and really let the investor know that here's the good, right? Here's the bad, and maybe here's even some of the ugly, right? Because I think that we are expecting that today. So once you have all those pieces in place, now you've got a business plan that is encompassing of the systems, the teams, the execution, the timelines, and of course the exit strategies. And once again, who are your unemployable experts? You know, what we look for once again is I will take a great leader with an okay idea versus an okay leader with a great idea. I know the great idea with an okay leader is going to fail almost all the time. So become that great leader that attracts the money so you're not chasing it, you're attracting it. Helpful?
Very helpful, yeah.
Thanks for being on.
Thank you very much.
So thank you very much, Justin. Great you were here.
Great.
Thank you very much, Bill, for the
Oh,
amazing
thank you
coaching.
Yeah,
here at
great.
Coaching Live.
Thank you.
Great tips, and it was really great. Hopefully for all those 3 people today, that it will be a very good start or continuation of your business. So all the best for you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Thank you, and I can see that the film
Yes.
set has become quiet behind
Yeah,
us.
so I think
so
that we are
means that
already
they're ready.
And maybe before we go, because the coaching session that we are going to do today for the coaching movie, we cannot show you in the next few
Not
months
yet.
or 1 year, because it will take longer to create a movie. But maybe if you can share with us one more thing, what would be, in your case, a powerful coaching question that you ask your clients normally to help them to grow their business?
So what I always ask a client, number one, is tell me where it is you want to go, right? So tell me the vision. What is the vision for your life with the business? You know, and I'm looking, if it's a new business, we're looking at 1 to 3 to 5 years, somewhere in there, right? If it's an existing company, it's 15 to 20 years. What's the big vision for the brand? And you may never achieve the vision. So number one, what's the vision, right? Number two, what's the big challenge you see to helping yourself get there? Because many times it's hard for us to discuss what our challenges are, but once we do that and we open up to that, then a coach can effectively help you. It's like going to the doctor. The doctor wouldn't say, here's some drugs. They always ask you, what's wrong? What's the challenge you're facing?
And the more you can specify, the better.
Yeah, the more clear you are in that challenge, the easier job it is for the coach, right? Because they've done this over and over. And I tell you, in business, it's like being dropped in the Amazon jungle, 20 miles in the middle of nighttime. You got 2 choices. Number one, get out by yourself. Number 2, we'll drop you with 2 Green Berets, 2 special forces that have been through the jungle 100 times. That's why a coach is so priceless. And whatever space it's in, whether it's life or health or money, I always believe that you find the best coaches. You do whatever it can to have them help you at a super high level. It'll make your journey a whole lot easier. So I like to know where they're going, what are the big challenges, right? And really I want to also find out how committed they are to it, right? Do they have the do they have actually the marketing set up? Do they have the money set up behind it? Because you know, a big dream without a great team many times is just a great thought that never comes to fruition. So you know, I ask those questions right away. Where do you want to go? You know, and are you committed to it? And what are the big challenges you see to get there? And then help them with that path. And just the big thing too is that it's not overnight. There's no quick fix. I wish there was magic dust that we could just sprinkle on people.
Magic
but
pill.
yeah, there's
You
no
wake
magic.
up and you have your own great villa and great business.
Yeah, it really is the hard work and dedication. And if we could just share that message worldwide with more entrepreneurs, it's okay to commit 2 years to build a great company. It's okay to take a couple years to get outside your comfort zone to build something awesome. But I believe that it's worth the price.
Thank you.
Thank
No
you very
problem.
much.
Thank you.
Bill
Thanks for having
Walsh,
me.
America's Small Business Expert. You've been watching Coaching Live, and we're looking forward to see you on the next episode number 4.
Next week.
Yeah, next week. And what will be happening then is we'll be having Marshall Goldsmith on the call, and he will be also revealing to you who will be one of the coaching clients in the actual coaching documentary. So stay tuned for that, and thank you very much, Bill.
Thank you. Thanks for
See you
having me.
next week.
Awesome. Thanks, everybody.